Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid is a 1969 American Western film directed by George Roy Hill and written by William Goldman. Based loosely on fact, the film tells the story of Wild West outlaws Robert Leroy Parker, known as Butch Cassidy, Paul Newman, and his partner Harry Longapaw, the Sundance Kid, Robert Redford, who are on the run from a crack U.S. posse after a string of train robberies. The pair and Sundance's lover, Etta Place, Catherine Ross, flee to Bolivia to escape the posse. In 2003, the film was selected for the United States National Film Registry by the Library of Congress as being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. The American Film Institute ranked Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid as the 73rd greatest American film on its Offie's 100 Years, 100 Movies, 10th Anniversary Edition list. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid were ranked 20th greatest heroes on Offie's 100 Years, 100 Heroes and Villains. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid was selected by the American Film Institute as the 7th greatest Western of all time in the Offie's 10 Top 10 list in 2008. Storyline. In 1899 Wyoming, Butch Cassidy is the affable, clever, talkative leader of the outlaw hole-in-the-wall gang. His closest companion is the laconic dead-shot Sundance Kid. The two return to their hideout at Hole-in-the-Wall, Wyoming, to discover that the rest of the gang, irked at Butch's long absences, have selected Harvey Logan as their new leader. Harvey challenges Butch to a knife fight over the gang's leadership. Butch defeats him using trickery, but embraces Harvey's idea to rob the Union Pacific Overland Flyer train on both its eastward and westward runs, agreeing that the second robbery would be unexpected and likely reap even more money than the first. The first robbery goes well. To celebrate, Butch visits a favorite brothel in a nearby town and watches, amused, as the town marshal unsuccessfully attempts to organize a posse to track down the gang, only to have his address to the townsfolk hijacked by a friendly bicycle salesman. He calls it the future. Sundance visits his lover, schoolteacher Etta Place, and they spend the night together. Butch joins up with them early the next morning and takes Etta for a ride on his new bike. On the second train robbery, Butch uses too much dynamite to blow open the safe, which is much larger than the safe on the previous job. The explosion demolishes the baggage car in the process. As the gang scrambles to gather up the money, a second train arrives carrying a 6-man team of lawmen. The crack squad doggedly pursues Butch and Sundance, who try various ruses to get away, all of which fail. They try to hide out in the brothel and then to seek amnesty from the friendly Sheriff Bledsoe, but he tells them their days are numbered and all they can do is flee. As the posse remains in pursuit, despite all attempts to elude them, Butch and Sundance determine that the group includes renowned Indian tracker Lord Baltimore and relentless lawman Joe Liefers, recognizable by his white skimmer. Butch and Sundance finally elude their pursuers by jumping from a cliff into a river far below. They learn from Etta that the posse has been paid by Union Pacific head E.H. Harriman to remain on their trail until Butch and Sundance are both killed. Butch convinces Sundance and Etta that the three should go to Bolivia, which Butch envisions as a robber's paradise. On their arrival there, Sundance is dismayed by the living conditions and regards the country with contempt, but Butch remains optimistic. They discover that they know too little Spanish to pull off a bank robbery, so Etta attempts to teach them the language. With her as an accomplice, they become successful bank robbers known as Los Bandidos Yanquis. However, their confidence drops when they see a man wearing a white hat, the signature of determined lawman Liefers, and fear that Harriman's posse is still after them. Butch suggests going straight, and he and Sundance land their first honest job as parole guards for a mining company. However, they are ambushed by local bandits on their first run and their boss, Percy Garris, is killed. Butch and Sundance kill the bandits the first time Butch has ever shot someone. Etta recommends farming or ranching as other lines of work, but they conclude the straight life isn't for them. Sensing they will be killed should they return to robbery, Etta decides to go back to the United States. Butch and Sundance steal a payroll and a burro used to carry it and arrive in a small town. A boy recognizes the burro's livestock branding and alerts the local police, leading to a gunfight with the outlaws. Butch has to make a desperate run to the burro to get ammunition, while Sundance provides covering fire. Wounded, the two men take cover. Butch suggests the duo's next destination should be Australia. Meanwhile, unbeknownst to Butch and Sundance, the local police have called on the Bolivian army to deal with the two outlaws. Confident of their ability to escape, the pair charge out of the building, guns blazing, directly into a hail of bullets from the massed troops who have occupied all of the surrounding vantage points. The film ends on a freeze frame as sounds of the Bolivian troops firing on the doomed outlaws are heard. Did you know? Paul Newman's charity for children with serious medical conditions is named Hole in the Wall Camp after Butch's gang. In order to get the shot of the super posse jumping out of the train on their horses, the door on the opposite side of the train car was left open and a ramp placed out of view on that side of the train. In real life, the horses would not have had room in the train car to make such a dramatic leap. The song Raindrops Keep Fallin' on My Head was written after the rough cut was completed, and when Robert Redford first saw it in the movie, he thought it was terrible. The agents for singer B.J. Thomas regretted letting him do it and thought it would ruin his career. The real Butch Cassidy, whose name was actually Robert Leroy Parker, got his nickname because he once worked in a butcher's shop. The Sundance Kid, real name Harry Alonzo Longabaugh, got his nickname because he once was arrested in the Wyoming town of Sundance. Robert Redford wanted to do all of his own stunts. Paul Newman was especially upset about Redford's desire to jump onto the train roof and run along the tops of the cars as it moved. Redford said Newman told him, "I don't want any heroics around here. I don't want to lose a co-star." See you later.